count down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What up, nephew?
So smart.
Welcome to another episode of GeniusBrainPodcast. I am your host, David So, and introduce yourself.
I am hoster Joe Jitsukawa.
What's up, y'all? We just got back from a delicious meal of Korean barbecue.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yo, man, a lot of people don't know what Korean barbecue is, son. Korean barbecue is the shit. It's not that traditional American barbecue that you're used to. We're talking about sliced, thin pieces of brisket.
Yep.
We're talking about some beef tongue sometimes. We're talking about sometimes beef belly.
Ribeye steaks. Short rib.
It's the shit, man.
Bacon pieces. Fat. Pork jaw. Whatever.
Pork jaw.
Intestines.
Yep. Oh, some people don't like intestines. That shit's...
I started liking it now.
It's good, right?
I like it.
Like if you get the...
Marinated. Yeah.
If you get the... don't get small intestine.
No,
That's
large.
The large
small one tastes like dookie. Yeah. It's like fucking rubber dookie.
If you get the large intestine...
I don't know why people eat that shit. That shit tastes like rubber band.
With dookie in it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the small intestine is the lower part, right? That's where all the shit is.
I guess so.
Yeah, and the large intestine, like I guess like dookie hasn't passed through it yet. So it's just like...
Food maybe.
Like beef fat that's like crispy. And that's what it tastes like. It's pretty fucking bomb, man.
It's delicious.
Yeah, man. So we're just going to get right into it. One of the topics that a lot of people have been asking about, and I think that I've been wanting to talk about, is like that whole cancel culture.
Yeah.
That's been really big right now.
Yeah.
It's where people are finding out anything and everything about somebody they want to take down.
Cancel you, bitch.
and they're literally, cancel culture is literally what it sounds like. It's you trying to take somebody down. And there's like a certain type of either like accomplishment from it and joy from it. Now, mind you, from what we've seen, especially with like the MeToo movement, there's a lot of positive stuff that comes out of it. Some of these, like fucking, what's his name? Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Fucking creep.
I mean, the great thing that came out of that is we all know like shit like this goes down in Hollywood or in the corporate world or whatever. Like, you know, people use their position of power to rape women or whatever. And it's like out now. And it's like, oh shit.
Some interesting comments that I remember that I read was when we were talking about the whole Bill Cosby thing, and we actually know somebody where you guys mentioned this story to me, where there was that story about the hairstylist.
The
makeup artist that was talking about how
back in the day she got harassed by Bill Cosby. Yeah.
He straight up came up and grabbed her.
Yeah, he clawed her boob.
Yeah.
And then he was like, there's nothing you can fucking do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people understand, because there was a couple of comments where they mentioned, well, if you guys knew this stuff, you guys should have said something. It's like,
me?
Well, yeah. It's like, well, first of all, that was a hearsay story that we heard through somebody else.
Yeah, it's not fact.
It's not fact.
Yeah, this is something that I heard.
Yeah, so this is something that we heard from somebody else. So it's already a watered down account that came through two other people. So we're not out here to ruin somebody's career on something based on hearsay.
Yeah.
Right. And this is generally what happens too.
Yeah.
And obviously for me too, like Bill Cosby, I didn't want to believe that shit.
Yeah.
Yo, I adamantly defended that dude.
I mean, I even had hearsay about Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
One of my buddies, he's a producer in Vietnam. And Harvey Weinstein, his company was they would license movies, Asian movies, and then release it here in the States, right?
Yeah.
So he had a trip out in whether it was Hong Kong or whatever. But one of his actors had an opportunity to work with him because he was seeking her out specifically. So after the meeting with him, they were like, "Oh, you want to talk about like your role?" And then she was like, "Sure." So they went up to his office or hotel room or whatever it was. And then she came down and she's like, "Fuck that guy. I'm never going to work with him." And then she never got the role. She never got an opportunity. But basically, she told everybody, like, yeah, that guy just tried to fucking creep on me. And he just said, like, you want the role? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
So then I already knew, like, this is like 2008.
Oh, that's fucking
when
crazy.
I heard this story. 2008 or 2009. So it was like long fucking time ago, man. But it's funny that everybody in the industry knew these things or who has met him and how open he was. So the problem is, I think everyone fucking knew. A lot of people knew because he was like invincible.
There's a lot of fear in I have a friend too who not too long ago experienced not to that extent, but she kind of experienced how somebody can use their power over them in entertainment because it's highly career based,
Yeah.
right? So for example, so she does like makeup and like wardrobe and all that other stuff, right? So how it was kind of explained to me is this. It goes, okay, so your job. So for me, it's my job to dress up this actor or whatever, right? And this actor on set has all this power. So mind you, if this actor's not happy, he feels upset. This whole film is based on this person.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go through, then well, everybody's fucked.
Yeah.
So it's beyond just her job that's on the line.
Career's on the line. And if this actor is like throwing off his moment, like let's say like he has a bad experience with I don't know, like the makeup artist.
Yeah.
And then he gets upset and he doesn't want to do his role, or he can't perform well because now he's just so upset at how rude that makeup artist was. Then it's like you just fucked up the whole day for everybody.
Yeah. So for like in her case, it was kind of to the point where he clearly was making a lot of like sexual advances at her, and she was brushing him off, whatever. She was handling it very well because she has experienced this before.
Yeah.
But how she was explaining to me was this. She goes, well, let me put it to you like this. Because I asked her like, well, you fucking just tell him to fuck off. She goes, well, David, it's not that easy. Because you have to think about it like this. I come in, I say, hey, don't do this, blah, 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 blah. I feel really uncomfortable with you. He gets pissed off. When it comes time for me to dress him up, which I guess like this has happened to her before on a smaller scale, he goes, I don't like this shit. You're not doing your job right. Fuck this. Like, I'm not acting today. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
It gets put on her. She loses her job.
Yeah.
Then she's going to have even a harder time booking another job because she's known as the person that sucks on job and just pisses actors off. So this is the type of power that they have over people. And I didn't really think about that. And these people in position, they fucking know it.
Yeah.
They fucking know it too. And I never had that perspective before because in my mind, I was just saying, yo, why don't you just stand up for yourself and tell the dude to fuck off? It's like, it's not that easy because these people are the gatekeepers to another job or another job opportunity.
That's why it's nice that things are catching up to them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, all the people that you fucking did wrong, all the people that like couldn't stand up to you.
Yeah.
Now it's catching up, motherfucker. And it's nice. It's nice to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like payback's a bitch, motherfucker.
Yeah, it really is though, man. And I feel like a lot of people did get away with a lot because they knew nobody was going to say shit, or it just seems so far-fetched to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And even for me, it seemed far-fetched. Like it was just a story, but it didn't like sit in my stomach as something real. Right. So somebody would tell me these stories. I'm like, yeah, I could see that happening. But like for us, like it's already watered down by the time it comes to us.
Yeah.
So we whistle blow. Who the fuck is going to listen?
Right. I mean, like, fuck, like the whole R. Kelly shit came out.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things been happening. And we know some people that's like old school Hollywood. Like they've been in since like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and what I hear is that today a lot of people are scared in many ways. Scared because like the internet fucking going digital and things like that is putting mad pressure. Like there's no feature film industry anymore.
Yeah.
It's like unless they're making a fucking big blockbuster thing or a Marvel movie, like there's no middle budget. It's either independent companies doing digital content or Netflix produced things. There's really no film industry. Everything's moving to TV or digital or whatever. And so their careers are on the line. Not only that, like a lot of these actors, these powerhouse actors, they're aging.
Yeah.
And then there's no next generation really that can stand up to par to these guys.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shifts happening. And on top of that, now with the MeToo movement, now with all this like people going against the fraudulent Hollywood world, there's so many things that are like the old guard is going to change.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time, man. And so there's so much pressure. They don't have as much as they used to have. Like now it's tainted, like the secret's out. A lot of shit's going to start surfacing.
Yeah. And new media kind of opened up this gateway because of you don't have to tell just one person and that person who doesn't believe you. It doesn't have to be like that, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you told somebody who's very significant about this problem and they just don't believe you. Well, that's kind of just how it ends, right? They're
Right.
like,
Back in the day.
yeah, it's like, well, I needed to tell this executive that this happened, but they don't believe me. Then that's the end of the story.
Now
But
you could get everybody on your side.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about it.
build your case. And Like the whole Cosby thing. If it was just one woman that told somebody within that circle that this is, they're like, no, that's not Bill. What the fuck are you talking about?
But 10 pop out, they're like, I've been quaaluded.
Yeah.
You know?
like 30 or 50. Like
it's crazy.
It's kind of hard to deny at this point.
What sucks about it though is the people who take advantage of movements.
Yeah.
And then it kind of discredits it, because during the Me Too movement, there were women that were using it and falsely accusing guys that never raped them or whatever.
Yeah.
But since people were just so heightened,
It's that Bob mentality.
they're like, fuck it, I don't care if he's, innocent or not. Let's get him.
Fucking burn him.
And that's when it went too far. Because
Yeah.
it was like, oh man, now I could, like, I'm all for justice, but like, we can't treat everyone like Frankenstein, Like it's that's fucked up.
Yeah, it got really weird too, especially with some. Somebody put this out. I forgot it was on Twitter, but I agree with this 100%. And I kind of wanted to do a video on this, but because she explained it so well, there was really no point.
Yeah.
But she kind of warned women of a lot of other women who are in guise of somebody who is there in support for females, but they're really not.
No.
Right. And so this kind of goes hand in hand. And she used Kim Kardashian as an example.
Yeah.
Right. So she is this woman that says, girls, it's all about you, be badass. It's all, all this other stuff. But her actions speak otherwise in terms of this. Like, you suck the dude's dick to get where you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So are you a part of this Me Too movement? You're really not. But, for somebody like that, they're trying to capitalize on this movement to make them look good.
Yep.
So they are not, I guess, quote unquote, I hate this word, but an ally. They are somebody who's using that movement in benefit of them, right?
Yep.
So you sucked your dick all the way to the top, right? You're telling women you should love the way that you are, but you have ass implants, tit implants, whatever that you have. You have Botox, got your lips pumped.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you saying? Like,
That's not all natural.
yeah, like how are you telling these women to be comfortable with who you are and love yourself when you're the person who has the financial means to change any part of your body wherever you want because you actually don't love the way that you look?
Yeah.
And people don't have access to that shit. So
that's crazy she would say shit like that.
Yeah, and expect to get burned.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck are you?
That blows my mind.
Yeah, so obviously when Kim Kardashian, she was like trying to hop onto that Me Too movement, she got flame for it. She got fucking flame
as she
for it.
should.
Yeah.
As well as other people who's taken opportunities, because what happens is, like, let's say there was an actress and she's like, fuck it, I'll suck a dick.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've said it before.
Yeah.
If I could get on a movie, I'll suck the shit out of Jackie Chan's dick. Put me on Rush Hour motherfucking 10, dude. I don't give a fuck.
He's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
She's spinning him around in the chair.
But, I mean, all jokes aside, right? Like, there is a woman that was cool with it. That was like, fuck it, I'll do it. It's going to get me to the top. But then what ends up happening is, like, now dudes like Weinstein are like, oh shit, it was that easy? Well, I could do it again. Maybe they all down. Maybe a lot of women are cool to do this shit.
Yeah, like I feel like those women that try to hop on that Me Too movement, like you're not a part of that movement because you used whatever your body, your sexuality to get what you want out of that situation. It was a barter thing.
Right.
You traded something for something else.
You got what you wanted and now you're on the top.
Yeah.
But how can you say that to other women and support them when you basically prostituted yourself?
Yeah, and for them it wasn't like that. They
Yeah.
were told the other way around. It goes, you do this or you won't have this job.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a completely different situation.
That's like a drug dealer that's like joining all the people like, yeah, fair and square, work hard. And it's like, well, yeah, you did work hard for drug dealing, but at the same time, man, like you're not paying taxes and you're not doing what the rest of the people are doing.
Yeah.
So you can't march with us. It's not the same.
It's not the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I think the problem I think when people want to talk about cancel culture, the problem with it is now it's like it's become a sport and a hobby to shut people down.
It's that crab mentality, right? Like, let's pull down the guy on the top so we could use them to climb on top.
You're like, we got to cancel this person. Yeah. We got to kill. Like, who the fuck are you? And the problem that I have with that is like, people are walking around like your shit does not fucking stink. Like your shit's the same as my shit. It's poop, baby. We all poop and it all fucking stinks.
I love how people want to be so like, I'm going to take the moral higher ground, but then like, they're such fucking hypocrites, dude.
Yeah. Like, I'm getting so sick of that. Like, I understand we are all hypocrites to a certain extent, but people are trying to burn some other human beings as if they haven't done worse. Like, remember the guy with the whole, the Chinese dress thing?
Yes.
That fucking Asian fuck.
Yes, that fucker was like, my culture's not a costume, right? But then they found all these old tweets, and he's using the N-word,
Like
calling people like these black people this and that, and
Like
it's
derogatory way too.
Yeah.
It's like, who the fuck do you think you are, man?
I know, and that's hilarious, man. It's hilarious.
It's that biblical saying, man. Let the first person without sin cast the first stone, motherfucker.
Or in Dave Chappelle's, he who is without sin cast the first stone, and I shall smoketh it. Cast the first rock. Remember?
Oh, fucking Tyrone Biggums.
Tyrone Biggums, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. And it's if you are going to roast somebody for doing something terrible in their past that they've learned from, then you should be able to reflect that upon yourself too. It's like, okay, take a look at your past, right? Did you learn from it? Did you grow? And if you're so comfortable going ahead and judging somebody else, then you damn well should be comfortable for somebody else checking out your tweets or whatever you've done in the past and judge you for it as well.
That shit just recently happened to Andrew Zimmern.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, like he basically said that Asian restaurants in the Midwest taste like horse shit or whatever, along the lines of that. But he said they're horse shit, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't disagree with. Being an Asian person who's ate at a lot of Midwest restaurants, compared to Asia, compared to LA, compared to areas that are predominantly Asian, if that is the standard, I would consider it horse shit.
Yeah. Wait, was this, where did he say this at?
It was on his new show. It's not Bizarre Foods. It's another one.
Yeah. So he said it on the show, and then people were upset about that.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, like, even though I agree that it does taste like shit a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Like, I also read why people were mad, and it also made sense, and I kind of felt bad afterwards. Cause like the argument that a lot of these Asian restaurants were making, like, it's like, man, my parents, they came to this country, they didn't have shit. We moved in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, and we had to figure out how to fork out a living for ourselves, and we created a restaurant. And you just can't serve authentic Chinese food in the middle of Kansas or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because the palate is just different. They want PF Chang's. They want, like I don't know, like white folks, they're scared of ethnic food. Most cases, right? Like unless they're around a lot of like Asians or whatever, then they're like they'll ease into it. Yeah. But in most cases, they want that like random Chinese food that's off the fucking, when you're on a long road trip, there's like a Chinese restaurant in the middle of nowhere, and you get that fucking hot and sour sauce with the wonton crisps as appetizer, and then you get your beef and broccoli and orange chicken and things like that. That shit's cool, man. It's good.
You know, I ain't gonna lie, I fucking love that shit though. I love that Americanized Chinese food.
But I think if we're gonna compare apples to apples, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to say all of them suck because there are some good restaurants.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But generally speaking, if we're saying generally, like the majority, I would say at least 75%, which is majority, right? At least 75% of restaurants that I've personally tried out in the Midwest doesn't make a decent beef and broccoli. If I'm going to compare that to like beef and broccoli in LA or San Francisco or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And even that's not authentic, but that's fine. But if and we're talking about someone, and Andrew Z, he's probably eaten way more authentic shit than I've ever had.
That fool ate 17 different types of Asian cow dick.
Exactly. At a Chinese dick restaurant, right?
That fool ate so much dick, it's unreal, dude.
Yeah, like goose dick, cow dick, fucking elephant dick, tiger dick.
Yeah.
Like, now that is a real Chinese man. You know what I mean? Like, so when this person who's an authority on food, which I highly respect, and he's eaten way more authentic Asian foods than most Asian Americans.
Yep.
When he comes out and he says, yeah, it tastes like horse shit, I do agree. Like, it just fucking sucks that everyone else is like, you fucking racist. You have no place to say things like this. Everyone's mad.
Yeah.
It's mad because they're mad because a white guy shouldn't have an opinion on Asian food, which I highly disagree with, because I think that is so racist to say that other cultures cannot comment on other cultures.
Yeah, my thing is, it's kind of weird because he floats in a very weird place because he has been to more Asian countries than I have.
Right.
He has eaten more Asian food than I have.
Yeah.
And he has cooked more Asian food than I have.
Yep.
So who am I to tell a chef that's also like a connoisseur of food what authenticity is?
Exactly, dude.
Like, I don't have, like, just because I'm Asian, I can't really have that conversation. I can't have that conversation when it comes to food that I grew up with.
Right.
But I don't know why people don't look at him as maybe as an authority of it, just because of maybe his skin color. That's really about it.
And that to me is just like prejudice.
Yeah.
Because this happened in like a Ubisoft or Sony commercial too.
Okay.
There was a white guy who like dedicated his life to taiko drumming. And I think he's a professor, or he lived in Japan, and like he's a hardcore enthusiast of this like Japanese drumming thing. So when they came out with his video game, they had him like do the drums and do the promo for it, right?
Okay.
And a lot of people were getting mad at Sony, and they were just like, "Why are you fucking letting this whitewash? Why are you whitewashing Japanese content and all this stuff?" And then like again, it was a Twitter warrior. She closed her account, but she was just like, "This is what I'm talking about." Like what's the word that they call cultural appropriation?
Yeah.
Cultural appropriation.
Oh, God,
right?
fucking hell, fuck that term.
But here's the thing, like that was to me cultural appreciation. And this person that was saying it, she was like Filipino. She's not even Japanese. So she's fighting and speaking on behalf of Japanese people. And I was like, yo, I'm Japanese and I see this as cultural appreciation.
It's dope.
Someone who dedicates like 20 plus years learning the drumming, like trying to give it like respect and also keeping it alive. Like, hell yeah, dude. That's fucking awesome. That's a lot of appreciation. I don't give a damn if he's white.
That's some weird shit too. It's like, some Filipino girl is mad about a Japanese taiko drum. Like, I don't understand that shit. Yo, you know what people don't even realize too? Like Japan.
What she was mad is she was like, "What, Sony? You couldn't find a Japanese man to do the job?" And I'm like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, like it's dope.
Who the fuck
and he's doing
cares?
it. And if it's a part of his life, then why not? And also too, people don't realize, man, like Japan specifically is one of the biggest countries when it comes to exporting culture.
Yeah.
That's like one of their biggest fucking things.
Yeah.
Like economically speaking, like they export culture like a motherfucker. Same thing with Hawaii. Like Hawaii does that a lot too. And so, it kind of goes hand in hand with like, there was a conversation I had with Z about this where P. Diddy, he put out this thing where there was a bunch of white kids, they were dancing on top of cars, enjoying like music or something, like black, what he calls black hip hop. Yeah. Right. So to that credit of saying like, this is our culture, this is black culture. Yeah. And a lot of people felt a little weird about it. It was like 50% was agreeing with Diddy and the other 50 kind of wasn't, because he goes, this is our culture and we're letting these like white kids kind of go run rampant with it. This is ours. We need to reacquire this stuff. Yeah. But how I saw the other side, what they said was like, okay, true. However, think about it like this. Your people that you're selling this to are these white kids. They're buying it. You're exporting this and you're making a profit off of it. Right. So now that you've sold it to the kids, you got them to love the stuff that you're putting out.
They want to be a part of it.
Now they want to be a part of it. Now you're like, okay, you could buy it, but don't enjoy it. Yeah. So it's like, how does that really work out? And that kind of goes with a lot of Asian culture too. We export it out. So a lot of people are going to appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess a good example of how fucked up it is about the cultural appropriation thing is like when we were in Japan, like my mom always wanted a daughter. So she wanted to put Jess in a kimono because when women turn like 18 or whatever, they take photos in a kimono. Yeah, it's almost like a Japanese quinceañera. Yeah. Right? So Jess didn't want to do it because she thought she was going to be disrespectful.
A bunch of tourists do that shit though.
Exactly. But I was like, no, you don't get it. Like in Japan,
they love it.
Exactly. They want black people. They want like Middle Eastern. They want everybody to wear the clothes. They want them to like be happy and experience the culture that way. But she felt like she was gonna disrespect it, like, you know, like how white people put on like those Halloween costumes of other cultures and shit, or something along the lines of that. And I was like, nah, you shouldn't be embarrassed. Like, they love this shit. And that's how bad it's gotten, to where like she can't even enjoy appreciating culture because she's constantly worried, especially because she's white.
Yeah, and it's a sensitive subject, I feel like, in America, just because of our social background here, especially when it comes to, you know, we talk about just white and black relations.
Yeah.
But when you're in the country and the people in the country are telling you that they would like for you to wear it.
Yeah, that's different.
That's a different thing. You're not in the
different.
States.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen that too. I've seen everybody do that when they go to Japan.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they have shops and stores specifically for foreigners to try it on and do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you'll see somebody in Japan look at you like, oh, what are you doing? They're like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
You know?
They're literally like, oh, he looks handsome. Oh, she looks cute. That guy looks a little funny. Like, that's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Is like, they kind of, to them, it's actually entertaining watching foreigners put on their clothes.
Yeah.
Because every day they have to put on foreigner clothes.
Yeah.
Jeans, t-shirt, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and I feel like hopefully what people do when they do go to, like, let's say a country like Japan,
Yeah.
they're not bringing their American lifestyle and telling people in Japan to conform to them. They're actually
Right.
doing the opposite and being respectful and conforming to what is appropriate over there.
yeah. But I like how you brought up the whole history thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a fine line between cultural appreciation and appropriation.
Yeah.
Because we already have a history of people profiting from, you know, like minority culture.
Yeah.
Like bastardized version of it. And a
Yeah.
good example are the McDojos. Like, you have a handful of white guys that kind of fetishize karate. They don't know anything about it, but they watch a few movies, and then like maybe they take a taekwondo class, and then they get like a yellow belt, and then they just, you know, go out and start their own dojo.
Yeah.
And then they pretend like a lot of fake Asian shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so inauthentic, and it's like, oh, you guys are just fucking playing a game here.
Yeah. And, you know, to Diddy's credit too, like,
Yeah.
I understand where he's coming from, right? Because how I see it as this is, okay, cool. So we made this product, right? And we kind of did it in a way to empower our culture. And this is something that I used to get made fun of about, or people would think of me as a low class person. But now that it's on, I guess, like, in his mind, now that some white kids are doing it, now it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? But I guess, you know, going back to the other side, that was something that you did a great job and you did make it cool. So now these kids, they want to be a part of it. So you change that perception.
I mean, worldwide.
Yo,
Worldwide, people are listening to hip hop and rapping, and
look at hip hop in fucking Asia, man. They're doing like trap music out there.
Yeah, I know.
Shit's fucking crazy because it's yo. When I heard, I forgot there's this group out in Asia, but they do like hood trap music, but it's like in fucking Cantonese. That shit makes me laugh so hard. Like, I'm sorry, like,
It's like the 88 Rising Boys.
Yeah.
All those guys.
I'm not laughing at them because it's ridiculous. It's just, I just never thought you could put like Cantonese to it.
I know, right? It just sounds hard.
Yeah, because Cantonese already sounds like you're trying to kill somebody. You put some hip hop to that shit sounds real as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's global now, and I remember when I started doing YouTube, I used to get mad at. I think it's because the way that we kind of speak, whether it's like you're from the Bay Area, East LA, or whatever, like there's a certain type of way that you speak. And that was kind of like a pass that you got only if you grew up in that area. But then I started hearing everybody use these slang terms that wasn't akin to who they are as a person. You know, and so you would, but
yeah, you're right. Like, there's people that don't even come from California, and then they're just like, yo, that's hella tight, yo. And it's like, why are you trying so hard, dude?
Yeah, that's what it felt like, you know, and you know, kids, you know, mind you, they grew up in a very affluent white neighborhood or whatever.
We know some fake ass YouTubers that try extra fucking hard to be urban and shit. And then when they speak, they sound like
it's weird.
Regular. They know how to switch back and forth, man. It's like, man, shut the fuck up.
It's hard to deal with them. The most specifically them is because for them it's like a persona, right? And they like to use it to their advantage whenever they want. But we just want them to be themselves.
Yeah.
With some of these other kids, they grew up watching YouTube so much.
And you can tell
Yeah.
the difference.
Exactly. It's like for them, like, what's your fucking excuse, man? You didn't grow up in their era. You're not a fucking 13-year-old kid that grew up watching this shit.
Yeah.
So, like, these dudes, so funny. Like, we're not going to say names, but I kid you not, every time they come up to me and have a conversation with me, number one, like I've mentioned this before, I don't even have like a hood ass accent. Like, it's like a slight mix because it's something that I kind of grew up with. Well, I did grow up with, but, you know, education was a big part of my life.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to flip in and out of it a lot. But every time these motherfuckers come up to me, they're just like, yo, what's up, homie? What's good? Like, bro, relax, man. Like, I don't even talk like that.
The fucking, what's up? The fucking, like, the fuck is this, bro? Yeah. It's like, are you in a fucking rap music video? Like, no one fucking does that in real life.
Yeah, they do that fucking lipping shit with their fucking, I call it.
Yeah, like, yeah. What's up, dog? I'm like, what the fuck?
With the fucking, they put the fucking, the lotion on their hands type of shit.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck are you doing? Stop doing prayer hands, homie.
Yo, what's up, man? What's up? I'm like, black people don't even do that on a regular, dude. What the fuck?
Like, chill the fuck out. You know, that's that shit that I fucking hate. And it kind of makes me wonder, it's like, is that how you perceive me as a human being? Like, number one, I don't even speak like that, dude. Like, I don't even talk like that. So what the fuck is it out of all the people that you're going to, you know, put this front up for? Why me? Like, fucking relax.
You know what always makes me laugh too? You know how, like, okay, when you're, well, not you, but when people around black people,
yeah,
like, they start to slowly urbanize
a little bit, like,
right? Like, it's like, what the fuck, for real?
Yeah. Like, it's weird because, yo, there's somebody else too, and you know her too. Like, I fucking crack up because this chick grew up in the Valley.
Yeah.
And when I first met her, yo, I'm talking to, yo, there's this clip I saw on YouTube of prior to her trying to be a little more urban, as you could say. Like, she's trying to twerk. That bitch did all shoulders. That shit was fucking funny, right?
It was one of the fucking...
Yeah, it was that. And I started fucking dying laughing because I saw that clip of her. But, you know, now, like, I noticed, and I mentioned this to her husband, and I was like, yo, do you notice that every time this girl is in front of one black person, she just goes, okay, girl, what's good? Okay, I seen you. Like, what in the fuck is happening?
Oh my God.
And I'm sitting there just dying. Like, my skin is crawling, man. It's like,
God.
yo.
Why do people do that shit?
I don't understand. Like, yo, chill the fuck out. They're going to like you either way. You're a dope person. Like, you
do
don't
you think
gotta,
they even know? It just happens?
You know, it just happens too. And the funny thing is, like, they do that around, like, the black folk that don't even talk like that.
That's hilarious.
It's like, yo, they don't even talk.
It's like a Harvard graduate with no accent.
Yeah.
Like no ebonics or whatever, just straight up. Like, they sound like Carlton Banks and shit.
Yeah. It's like you do realize they grew up in the same area as you, so you guys already talk the same.
God,
but
dude.
because she sees the color of their skin, she fucking hands it up like crazy. Now, mind you, I'll say this, right? So if I'm back in Sacramento, I guess like that kind of like hood lingo tends to come out a little more because that's what I grew up with.
But that's also true, like, Hawaiian locals.
Oh yeah, yeah,
like my cousin, like, one time, you know, I never heard him speak pidgin because he's always been here in California for the longest time. But when they moved back to Hawaii, and then I started talking to him, I was like, man, you sound different.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, it's because when I'm back here, like, my pidgin comes out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I never heard you speak like this my whole entire life.
Like, where the fuck did you get this?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, trip out, bro. Like, it makes sense, like, because you're going back to your hometown, right?
Yeah, I go back to my hometown, or like, even Khalif understands too,
Yeah.
right? So Khalif and I, when we speak to each other, or I talk to my best friend, we speak a certain way.
Yeah.
It's still mainly like this, but then, you know, I'll ham it up a little bit too, because to be honest with you, that's how I used to speak the most.
Yeah.
So how I've learned to kind of enunciate my words and clean up the way that I speak was mainly because I wanted to go into entertainment and I was doing stand-up.
Yeah.
So I used to speak, I mean, I still speak fast now, but I used to speak really fucking fast. And so I had to learn how to slow that down. And on top of that, the way that I spoke wasn't really great in getting jobs. Like, I couldn't get a job.
Yeah.
So I learned how to clean up the way that I spoke and then kind of, you know, I guess, as you say, wide it up a little bit. And, you know, it's a little natural for me now.
I should pull out one of my fucking old videos.
Dude, you talk like a fucking cholo, dude. That shit
Nah,
was,
fool.
yeah. Hey, what's up, fool? You were a straight up Mexican, bro.
Too much information and shit.
Too much for fucking Victor Fuentes, homie. Yo, if you guys have any spare time, dude, check
Victor Fuentes.
Look up 911 call Victor Fuentes. Yo, Tim Timothy De La Ghetto showed me this clip
funny.
of this cholo out in Compton that did a 911 call. It's the funniest shit you'll ever hear in your life.
I mean, going back to this whole cultural, like all that stuff is like, where do you draw the line? Because you have people that grew up like, you know, the only Asian kid in a white neighborhood or a black neighborhood or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or even like I remember my high school was predominantly black and Hispanic, and we had like 5 white kids.
Yeah.
And it's like the M&Ms of the group, right?
Yeah,
or like whatever, like how like they don't know anything else. You know, like all of their friends, the people, the English that they're around listening to, like they kind of absorb that culture.
Yeah.
Right? So like who's to say like you got to act like your culture? It's that is their culture. You know, like if they grew up around like let's say all your friends are black.
Yeah.
And like, you know, even though your parents aren't, but they speak broken English.
Yeah.
And it's like that's where you learn English. That's where your community is.
I mean, you're
not black, but then where else are you going to learn English?
Yo, like
you absorb it.
The best way to explain it is this. It's like, yo, have you seen a fucking Asian person like in the UK?
Yeah, they sound like
they have a British accent.
Yeah.
They have, so what, like how you can understand that, but you can't understand the other way around where somebody grew up in a neighborhood where everybody spoke with like a hood accent or a slang. They're not going to pick that shit up. Like, how do you not understand it? So you could understand it in an international scale, but it's different when it comes to the United States.
And then like, what about like if cornrows are in, right?
Yeah.
And you grew up in a black neighborhood, cornrows are in, and it's like everyone's getting them. And it's like, I want to fit in too. So you get them, but then they go, no, you can't because you're not black.
Man, I put it to you like, man, I would have had cornrows too. My hair's too thin, dude. That shit would have ripped.
I wanted
all
it
my
too,
hair.
but then I saw how painful it was, and I was like, nah.
That shit is fucking painful, dude. Like, especially because after you get your cornrows out, like a lot of people, typically like Asian dudes that get it, they'll notice that a lot of their hair falls out too and shit because it's tight. It's tight as fuck and it's itchy.
Yeah, I mean, there was none of these words existed back in high school. Like people just did shit.
It's hard, man, just because there's a lot of pain behind this stuff. So when they see somebody do something, when during the time that they did it, they got made fun of for it, they think that it's unfair. It's like, well, what the fuck? How come when I did it back in the day, you guys were saying all this racial bullshit to me, but suddenly when quote unquote white person does it, now it's cool and it's okay. Now you guys want to take credit for it. So there's that pain and that history that people just can't get over.
So like it's like when black people did like the afro hair, then it was like being a rebel and it was like whatever, but then like or that dreadlocks or whatever.
Yeah.
And then now if white people do the fucking dreadlocks or whatever, then it's like so cool and edgy.
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
You made fun of my hair, like my dreadlocks and shit, which is culturally mine. You said it was smelly. You know, people used to clown on me about it.
Yeah.
And they looked at me a certain way, like I was a lesser human being. But suddenly you got the white boy like banging bongo drums and he got dreads.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this guy's edgy and different. But it's like, yo, hold on a second, man. So that's why like people do feel a certain way because it's like, it's still a representation from how I see how people see it. It's still a representation of inequality.
Yeah.
Like what in the fuck?
Yeah.
Like why is it when I do it, I'm trash, but when you do it because of your skin color, it looks cool?
It's so funny that they're attacking the white guys with the dreads because they're like the furthest.
They're the wrong people to do it
right?
to.
They're like this nicest little guys that want to be peaceful and smoke weed and shit, and they're getting attacked for like wanting to be Jamaican or some shit. And it's like, man, that's what I always saw too. Like the type of anger that a lot of minorities had, they would take it out on the white kids,
people
that were in a shitty place like us, and they grew up in the same neighborhoods with us, and it's like. That's the wrong people to take it out, but they didn't have access to the actual like white people that was probably mean to them when they were at the mall or whatever. You know, it's like that's not even the group.
Yeah,
you know, they're just bullying these kids that are in they're in shitty places like us. They're going to our same schools.
Yeah,
you know, they're not in a good place. Yeah. But it sucked, man. Like we had to have an assembly because like a lot of the kids were taking out their anger on the white kids.
Oh, Jesus.
And there was this whole assembly and we had this like guy speaking and he was like trying to tell everybody like they're not, you know, all this stuff that you have against them. These guys aren't the enemy. They're eating the same foods at our shitty cafeteria. They're going through the same shitty education. Like, why are you doing? Yeah.
Like they're in the same economic situation that you are. You're like attacking the wrong person.
Yeah, but then they're stupid and they don't know what to do. So they're just kids and stupid and they don't know where to take their anger out on.
Yeah.
So that's where that happens. And I was like, dude, that just sucks because it's like you see all these people on the bottom. We're all here fighting each other. Poor whites, poor Asians, whatever, even middle class. It's like everybody's just fighting each other. And it's like we're so busy doing that we're not focusing on getting out of the shitty situations.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing.
And that cancel culture thing, just to go back to that, it's happening a lot because social media specifically, it's highlighting all the negative stuff and never any of the positive. So
yeah, that's the truth.
Like I was just talking to you today where when I went to Texas, I've had such a weird perception of Texas because of what I've seen and heard. When I went there, just from my anecdotal experience, people were generally really fucking nice to me.
That's what I've always said, dude.
They didn't come up and go, hey, what's up, little ching chong? Like, they didn't, look at you, little fucking rice patty boy. Like they didn't talk to me like that. They were fucking super respectful. Like and how it was told to me that me as an Asian person will go there and people will, I don't know, pull my pants down or some shit. I don't know.
I faced way more racism from liberal white people in California than I ever did from these conservatives in these states that we're supposed to be afraid of. Like when I first started traveling and seeing the world, sure, like maybe, everyone out there like, nah, the South is racist because I live here. You don't know what it's like. Maybe, right? But like my experience going out there, meeting people, experiencing just face-to-face conversations, it's always been fucking pleasant. Sometimes even more pleasant than my California experience. But at the end of the day, I can't say millions of people are all fucked up. Either way, I can't say California people. We have so many people here. But like just personal experience-wise, I've dealt with neo-Nazis here in California at the beach. I've had like altercations and shit like that. But I don't go ahead and say like all fucking California white people are pieces of shits, right? Like it's hard to write that off. But for some fucking reason, and this is kind of a conspiracy, but this is what I think. We're all kind of programmed a little bit to be afraid of Southerners and white people from Texas and all that, because it's drilled in my mind that Republicans equals racists.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't think it's true because I've met so many in real life. And I mean, sure, you're going to have your small number of extremists, right?
Yeah.
But generally, these people are just normal human beings like us that just want to work and provide for their family and fucking have parties. Like, sure, they might be a little bit different in beliefs or whatever, but there's a lot of things I also believe in because I'm more in the middle. Like, I'm moderate, right, in my political beliefs. But then, like, before I went there, I had this idea that, oh, man, get ready, Republicans. There's going to be some white guy that just, fucking comes up to me. Where do we have this paranoia from? You know? Like, it's got to be, here's my thing, liberal education. Because we're not given an opportunity to think. Ever since in California, the way that we're raised, the way that we're kind of taught in the school system and all that stuff, it's a lot of resentment toward white culture.
Yeah.
So instead of like celebrating the Americanness, we go throughout life learning about how fucked we got by white people. Which is, I don't want to bury history at all. It's good to learn from it. But I think what it does to a young, impressionable mind is you grow up thinking that it's us versus them.
Yeah.
And if you're a minority, you have to be Democrat. You have to be liberal. You have to. Because if you don't, then you're going to be backstabbing your people and you're going to be an Uncle Tom by joining Republicans.
Yeah.
Which to me is so fucking weird because at the end of the day, we're all American. And being American is about having freedom to think and choose your own decisions and be able to debate, but still be American.
Yeah, and it goes back to that topic of that I'm pretty sure we've mentioned before on JK News of identity politics, right?
Right.
So it's like because you hear Republican, Democrat, you are clearly this.
Right.
Because you're a Republican, you're clearly a Trump supporting racist motherfucker.
Exactly.
Because you're a Democrat, you're a sensitive little crybaby bitch.
Yeah.
And there's no like room for like, okay, well, who am I as an individual?
Yeah, it's like I'm for gay rights, but at the same time, I do believe in gun ownership.
Yeah.
And gun rights.
Yeah.
It's like you can do both.
Yeah.
You can think for yourself, like there's some policies that I agree on the right. Like, I mean, but the thing with growing up in LA, highly liberal world, like there is no two-party system in California.
Yeah.
It's all liberal. Like it's either you're extra liberal, you're the progressive left,
Or you're less liberal.
or you're less. Yeah, exactly. And if it's like if you have one little fucking Republican ideal, then all of a sudden, ooh, you're the devil. It's like, what? That's so fucking crazy, man.
And people just sometimes just don't want to have conversation, right?
Yeah,
and
that's true.
And people want to be highly opinionated about, especially something as sensitive and important as politics.
Yeah,
they want to have a strong opinion about stuff that they haven't even done the research for themselves.
That's exactly right.
And it's scary to me.
Yeah.
It's scary. Like I have relatives like that. They go, God, these fucking liberal snowflakes. It's like, wait, hold on a second, bro. Where are you getting your information on? And, I've had a conversation with a relative where, on Facebook, like she tends to put up a lot of just liberal bashing shit.
Is she right wing or whatever?
She's hyper right wing, right? And so just bashing all this stuff. And then, I had a conversation with her where basically I asked her, I was like, hey, so where are you getting this information from? And she goes, well, it's all this stuff on Facebook. I was like, okay, cool. But you're in a red state, right?
Yeah.
Like you live in a red state. So how these marketing ads work is it's geared towards your bias. Mm-hmm. And she didn't understand that. She thought it was just bullshit.
No.
And I was like, and she goes, well, that's because you're a Democrat. I was like, I'm actually a registered Republican.
Yeah.
Yeah. But first of all, I was a registered Republican just because I like the animal. And I did that when I was 18. So I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, right? So it doesn't really matter. So I was like, you thought I was a Democrat just because I lived in California.
Yeah.
Right? And I told her, like, at the end of the day, too, I don't give a fuck about my political party. You know what I mean?
That's kind of like cancel culture. Going right back to it, just dismissing people instead of listening and having a conversation.
Hyper dismissive. And I told her, I was like, you're not even willing to have a conversation with me about a topic that you're so fired up about.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I was like, okay, since you are so pro whatever that you are, right? If I asked you when you were voting for these people, when it was Trump or Hillary, right? Aside from you saying, Hillary, she's a fucking criminal and a crook and all this other stuff. Aside from saying like Trump is, out there for, the small personal business type of shit.
Yeah.
Have you actually looked at the specific policies that they're supporting and the changes that they're going to make? Mm-hmm. Specifically, have you even read any of it?
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, I have. Okay, name like 3 or 4 for me because there's a lot.
Yeah.
So me asking you to name 3 or 4 shouldn't be much.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Yeah.
They just went back to the stuff that they were referencing articles.
Well, because they're reading memes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I get scared about. I was like, you are so pro whatever you're thinking that you will write all this jargon and negative garbage on space to influence people in your circle, but you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with religion, right? Like how many people actually read the Bible?
That's what I'm saying.
They don't fucking even read the Bible. They just fucking assume what's in the Bible.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that whatever she was saying was wrong or per se or not, but I kind of put it to her like this too. Whatever you're putting up that's pro whatever you're thinking, I can find something else that they'll say statistically disproves what you're saying.
Yeah.
So who's right or wrong at this point?
Exactly. No, you're exactly right, dude. And what I don't like about it is if I speak about this, like let's say we go to university and then because this is my wake up is like, well, if I'm a minority, why do I have to be liberal? Why do I have to be democratic? Why is that my like born into doctrine? Like, why do I have to be a part of that? Mm-hmm. Why can't I? There's the Green Party, there's a Libertarian Party, there's a Tea Party, there's all kinds of different parties. Yeah. And then different fractions within the Republican Party. You got the neocons, you got and that's the Bush administration and those guys. You got the new school Republicans that are kind of like the what's that black girl? She was with Kanye, Candace.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
got the Ben Shapiro's and stuff like that. And then within Democrats too, there's different groups of Democrats, right? Like you got your, Clinton crew, and then you have this new generation of progressive left, and then stuff like that. And then you have your Bernie, that's just a straight up socialist.
Yeah.
And then so like, there's just so many camps everywhere, and everyone has the freedom to choose. But it's almost as if people don't even want to listen and try and read and go like, oh, I could maybe see myself as a Republican, or maybe I could see myself as this. They don't even, they're already born into it.
Yeah, and mentioned it before, it's that specific word, is people want to be dismissive of what other people say.
Yeah.
That's their first immediate reaction. You don't know what you're talking about. You're dumb.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, just have a conversation, man. Be a person.
Exactly.
Like talk to these people. If you are so highly educated about the subject, don't you think that since you're so vocal on these social media platforms, that you should probably do your due diligence and have a conversation with them face to face when they want it, without being dismissive of what they're about to say?
It's funny because a lot of them can't. They're just mad.
Yeah.
And then I know where it comes from, because, us being paranoid of the South and being afraid of white people and being afraid of racism and already assuming that white people will be racist, that is what these guys are all going through.
Yeah.
And that heightened sensitivity is like, if an ounce of something looks like or resembles racism, they go, you fucking racist. I knew it. I fucking knew it. I was waiting for this moment, you fucker.
They're waiting to be proved right.
Yeah.
And I've experienced a few racist stuff here and there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make me hate the whole culture just because of a couple of individuals. So if you look at it statistically from all the the quote unquote, let's say white people that you met, right? Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm speaking for people in California, that the one or two times I was called a chink, the fucking 30 million other times I wasn't called a chink. So am I going to take those two negative instances and judge a whole group of people just on two fucks?
Yeah.
I don't think I can do that. Even when I was in Louisiana, if you can even go watch it on my channel, where I mentioned this guy when it was me and Ed, we were in Louisiana shooting this brand deal for a hotel that we were out there for. And we were walking around, this white dude in the trunk screams at us chink. He goes, fucking chinks, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Ed got really mad, grabbed the water bottle and chucked it at the dude, right? And in that moment, when he said it, I couldn't even process it.
Because he was like, it never happened.
I was like, oh, what did he say?
Yeah.
And he goes, he calls the fucking chink. But what I also saw was somebody else on the street, white person, comes up to us and he goes, don't pay any attention to that guy. That guy's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So what about that? What about that guy?
Yeah.
Right?
He kind of he was the plus and they were the negative, and they just canceled it.
Yeah.
So it's like they balanced it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's my position as an individual to say that every white person on earth has to prove to me that they're not racist. What kind of bullshit is that? Who the fuck am I?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. There's just it just goes deeper and deeper into this.
Right.
And I just feel like we're becoming more and more negative to want to silence people and be dismissive.
And separated.
Yeah. And I hate that shit.
And then, it takes a strong individual to sit in front of a person that doesn't like you and listen to them.
Yeah.
So if there are, straight up neo-Nazi, alt-right, KKK dudes, I'll sit down and talk to them, because what else? I mean, why? Why? What is there to be afraid of? It's just words and thoughts, and there's a reason for a lot of people's pain and hate.
Yeah.
There's a root problem. A lot of people mask it in other shit, but what I think is a lot of people don't have the tools in their brain to work out these problems.
Yeah.
So they blame other things. And sometimes they have legitimate things, but their needs are not getting met. So for example, a biggest argument from these guys is they're taking our jobs. Right? They're taking our jobs. These immigrants are coming here taking our jobs.
They're taking our Social Security.
And if you really listen to what they're saying, it's like, hey man, we're doing everything legal. We're setting up these construction companies legally. We're doing all these farm jobs legally. we're paying taxes. But here comes an immigrant that's going to beat our price, and then we don't get jobs anymore.
Yeah.
And this is the voice of poor whites, right? Yeah. And they're not educated. They don't know how to deal with this situation. So all they do is, instead of blaming the farm and then the lack of government control they're doing due diligence on the construction companies and all these things, right? It's like this, there's just like loss of, trust in the government to make sure that things are being dealt right. And then like they're looking at these guys, which it kind of sucks because these illegal guys, they need to do this. It's either this or they go starving, and their family's just like broken, sick, and hungry. Yeah. So it's just a shitty situation that everyone has, right? And people are hiring these poor farm workers. I mean, these illegal immigrants, because the farm owners are getting fucked. Yeah. With these low prices or whatever. They got to do their shit. So all along the line, everybody's kind of fucked. And all we see is the KKK guy doing what they think is the solution. Getting together and fucking burning a cross and going, let's kick out the goddamn illegal immigrants and fucking build a wall and shit. We need to fucking build a wall. Because they think that's the answer. Yeah. But obviously it's not. It goes deeper than that, but they don't have the brain capacity to understand how to deal with the problem.
And on top of that too, it's just easier to be angry at something than try to find reasons to be happy about it. Right. So I had a conversation with my cousin once again about...
It's way easier than to have a solution. Yeah. Solutions are hard, man.
Oh, for sure. You got to look for that shit.
It's easier to say like, this fucking group is the reason for my pain.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways for us too, like blaming white people and going like, it's this, you see that this fucking privileged group that has fucking everything, fuck them.
Yeah.
That's the reason for my pain.
Yeah, because my cousin said when the huge topic of like illegal immigrants were popping up, right? Yeah. And his argument was, well, our parents, they came here legally. I was like, bro, that was fucking like 40 years ago.
And it was much easier.
It was much easier. Yeah. You can't be dismissive of that fact. It's a completely different time. 9/11 happened. Yeah. Like, were you just forgetting that shit?
And what people don't know is there's limited caps per country. Yeah. Some countries that are in the friendly list, they could come in easier. Some people that are like, we're maxed out with Mexicans and Latin countries. Yeah. So like, the only way they know how, and they don't even have the paperwork in their own country. Yeah. So it's fucking a clusterfuck, man. Yeah. People just don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and it drives me crazy. Because Rain Man, the guy, the savant.
No, who's that?
So Rain Man, they did Dustin Hoffman and whoever they did a movie on this guy. So you know what an autistic savant is?
Yeah.
Highly intelligent, highly intelligent,
like very skilled in. Like a specific thing, right? They had like for example, there was that kid who they took him in a helicopter above the city, and they told him to draw what he saw up there.
Yeah, and then he could yeah.
Like amazing.
So this guy, they based a movie on him. Like he could read a book, like he reads like 3 books in a day, and like he could read a page in 3 seconds or whatever. Yeah. He remembers everything, right? But he's always working through these different problems in his head, and then he gets through these tantrums when he can't solve a problem. Right. Yeah. So he's like he's doing his thing and he's like, why? And his dad's like, it's okay. He goes, if they're illegal, why don't they just make them legal? So he was obviously talking about illegal immigration. Yeah. So this, autistic savant, even he's bothered by that because he's like, why don't they just make these people legal? But it's not that easy.
Easy solution.
Yeah, it's easy, but it's in his head. It's an easy solution. But like, I don't know. I think there's a lot more to it than that. And these topics, that's why it's like abortion. It's like these never fucking ending topics, man. Yeah. Because it's not one problem, one solution. It's like a clusterfuck of 50 problems.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Ignorance is bliss, man. Sometimes I just don't want to know shit, dude. And sometimes it's okay, people, to say you don't know shit, especially when it comes to something deep like politics and shit. Just sometimes say, I don't know. Like, you don't have opinion. You don't have to have a hardcore opinion about everything,
And are you a fucking politician that's going to actually make
a difference?
Yeah. What are you gonna fucking do?
Yeah.
Sit in the fucking back room drinking beers and yelling about bullshit for the like 4 hours straight? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What
like,
the fuck?
It's okay to have an opinion on a lot of things, I think, and then, talk about it and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what we do here and what we do on JK News. People, and sometimes people just get mad at opinions too. They go,
Yeah.
you don't know shit. Yeah, no fucking shit, dumb fuck. That's why it's called an opinion. I'm not saying it's fucking fact, you loser. I'm sorry that you got your feelings hurt because of my opinion. Then go ahead and cite your opinion and let's talk about it.
That's what's crazy, what's happening right now. And this is happening in a university space where people can't have opinions if it hurts other people's feelings.
My God. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, dude.
And they're not even saying like these motherfucker this, that, or whatever, or profanities or anything. They're just like voicing different thoughts.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't fit the narrative of, I don't know, like of the school or whatever it is, like
They shut that shit down.
they shut it fucking down, dude.
Silence somebody,
and then
you sons
that
of
blows
bitches.
my mind because a university is supposed to be a playground of thoughts.
Yeah. You're supposed to cultivate that shit.
Exactly. What the fuck does the debate team debate about?
Yeah.
Fucking which is better, carrot cake or rum cake? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, if you don't have things that push you, right? I don't know. Like, I thought that's what a university was for.
Yeah. People are, and I don't want to keep saying and beat this old drum of saying everybody's so fucking sensitive, but it's becoming a little apparent that it is. Obviously, there's like certain stuff that should be changed.
Yeah.
And the way people say things and the way people think.
Yeah.
However, in an open space, I mean, we see this shit in comedy all the time too,
Yeah.
right? Where comedy is supposed to go there and make fun of ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
But they hear something that's offensive, and instead of just saying, this is not for me, and then moving on.
Yeah.
It's the whole, I got to shut this fucking person
Right.
down, especially in a comedic space and also in a place of like a college where it's supposed to be about thought and discussion.
Right. Yeah. They don't even discuss shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the whole fucking point of that? And then people just get so quick to being angry again. That's why.
I have no idea, man. I haven't spoken to university in the last 3 years.
It's been a minute, huh?
Yeah. But a lot of people tell me that it's different.
It's hard. It's hard because you are going to speak at a university to only talk about the stuff that they want to hear. And that's a problem. Especially
So
when
it's a circle jerk.
It's a circle jerk,
Yeah.
right? So I'll go on some of these shows, and I've been on colleges where, mind you, I learned that I had to be very careful about what I say, and I started hating it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, why am I here? Are you here to hear my perspective, or am I here to tell you that you're doing an awesome job at whatever that you're doing right now? Because if you're going to ask my opinion about certain things, it may or may not be popular. And if you want to discuss it, let's just discuss it civilly. Like for example, people had a bit of a trouble of understanding where I was saying, I don't like it in Asian Hollywood where some of the most untalented fucks get to talk about struggling.
You're so right, though.
Yeah, it's like they're like,
it's fucking true.
we should support these people. No. I don't want to support these untalented fucks because they're making us look bad.
I think that's where the identity politics come.
Yeah.
Where I don't believe just because they're Asian, I should back them up.
Yeah.
Like there's politicians that people are like, yeah, man, he might be the next president. I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's corrupt. There's corrupt Asian politicians that fucking got caught for running guns and shit. Yeah, like why should I?
Like the mayor of San Francisco.
Yeah, no, he was a senator.
A senator, right?
Yeah, but he was running guns with Shrimp Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm like, why? Why? Just because they're fucking Asian, dude. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna choose the person who I believe is gonna represent my policies the best.
Yeah, they look at you as if you're a fucking traitor.
Yeah.
And I basically had, there's like, well, don't you feel like the reason why some of these people don't get it is because that they're Asian? I was like, hey.
No, it has everything to do with money and nothing to do with race.
Yeah. I was like, there's a bigger root to this problem.
Right.
And on top of that root, like, I get it to a certain extent, right? So some people don't see these Asian characters in like these masculine or hyper feminine like type of roles, and they don't see them making a profit off of it, right? Whatever. I understand that. My thing is like, if you are going to talk that big, I want to see what your walk is like.
That's exactly my point too.
Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see you saying like, okay, well, I graduated from Juilliard. I've taken these acting classes. I'm networking out there, and I'm not getting these opportunities at all. But the people who are the who have, in anyways, the people that I've met that are so fucking
no,
vocal.
dude, I agree with you because we don't know all the Asian actors.
Yeah.
But we know the type of Asian actors we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's the least talented guys who are the most vocal
Yeah.
and angry because they're not getting the roles. All the people that are getting the roles, that are like getting things, they get it.
Yeah.
They don't have a bitter attitude toward anything.
Yeah, and that's just like any other career because I've seen.
But they're also talented though.
Yeah.
That's the point. If I saw a talented dude getting mad about it, then I might agree.
Yeah.
But like I've seen their reels. I've seen their, you know what it is too? It's not just talent, it's work ethic.
Oh yeah,
it's
for
usually
sure.
the laziest fucks that don't even do auditions and things like that. And I call them out on it and I'm like, you have no right to talk.
Yeah.
You don't even take classes. You don't even do anything.
And people want me to empathize too with this, the concept of Asian people not being considered attractive. I was like, I didn't grow up with that shit, dude. I had a bunch of Asian homies just banged the shit out of everything. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the crazy thing, man.
Yeah. Maybe not me.
Yeah.
I was kind of hideous, but like my other attractive Asian friends, they did quite well.
See,
in the pussy game.
I didn't grow up feeling ugly. Like as an Asian, I loved it, man.
Yeah.
Like I grew up with blacks and Latinas, and then like black girls always wanted to touch my hair and shit. And then they're like, yeah, man, never been with the Asian guy. Like, it never occurred to me that I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
So I want to empathize with a lot of these Asian kids that grew up in all white neighborhoods or whatever, right? Like, I get it. If you don't look like the people around you, you feel ugly. You don't feel like there are white kids that grew up in all Asian neighborhoods that wish they were Asian.
Yeah.
So I get it, man. But it's like, it's not specific to just Asians. I want people to understand that.
Yeah, they're called computer programmers, dude.
Yeah.
They're always got that
And the
fucking
fact
yellow
that
fever.
people complain about it, that is such a fucking bitch ass beta thing to do.
Yeah.
That it's like, bro, you're further. If that is a stereotype, right? If Asian guys are docile, they're not romantic, they're not like leading men, you're acting that stereotype by not leading.
Yeah.
By you complaining and being depressed about all of this stuff, you're falling into that trap, right? Like, you're not living by example and changing that, perception at all.
And we're talking about this too, because like some of these guys that are saying these things, they're like, they don't see me as like attractive. Well, listen here, you greasy haired fuck. Like, of course, nobody would. It's not about your ethnicity.
Oh, yeah.
It's your fucking white Skechers and your fucking weird jeans and your greasy ass fucking hair and the fact that you don't shower. Don't blame it.
Dude.
Don't put that on our Asian people.
That reminds me of all the ugly guys, and they're not like top dogs, but then they have so much shit to say about women.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's not. Her fucking titties are small. It's like, bro, have you looked at you? You have no right to judge, man. You look like a piece of shit. And then you're fucking judging these actors and models as if like they're not good enough. It's like, what the fuck? You can't even fucking be in the same room with them.
Like, you're not even in the same realm, dude.
Yeah.
How fucking dare you, dude?
It's
It's
like,
like,
what blows my mind though is that, going back to what you said, is like, every time I go to these shows, right, we'll have dinner with some of the students. Sometimes they're Asian frat boys or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And then like every year there is a handful of kids with low self-esteem that's blaming the whole Asian thing for their lack of getting women and all this stuff. And I was like, what? It started to make me fucking hate them. Like, I would get mad.
Yeah.
Like I started to get so mad because they wouldn't take responsibility of their own actions.
Yeah.
Like, and on top of that, how entitled they were to like to women, and how they put white women on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, oh, we only get Asian girls. And it's like, what?
what the fuck does that mean? What's wrong with our women, bitch?
Exactly. Like, they're not good enough.
Yeah.
And then that just made me like, I'm like, how do you even start to think so low? Like,
Yeah.
what happened to you?
Yeah.
Like, that made me really mad and sad at the same time. Like, there's so many of these low self-esteem, weak Asian guys. And also, I highly doubt that it's media that did that to them.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a weak male father figure. It's gotta be like no real, like, support system with friends.
And it's like, highly counterintuitive to what they're saying that they
Yeah.
want, right? They're like, okay, well, they don't find like Asian women attractive, like blah, 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 blah. And they're talking about like this huge disrespect towards Asian culture. I was like, bro, you're being disrespectful.
You existing right here with your fucked up hair and you smell like shit.
Like you're mad disrespectful.
And you have bad hygiene, but you're out here saying girls don't like Asian guys. It's like, nah, bro.
They just
It's
don't like
just you.
Yeah.
It's just you.
And then you're like, you're shitting on fucking Asian women. Like, what's wrong with just Asian women liking you? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Asian women are the shit.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
That's why it just blows my mind that these guys exist.
Yeah.
They exist. They really do. And they think that they're I don't know, like this is the reality that they
I
live
just
in.
don't want them to represent us, man.
Exactly. And the thing about this whole internet shit is you get a group of these fucking cunts together. You get them all together and then they fucking reinforce each other.
Yeah.
And it's like this big group of just bottom feeder men, like just walking around
The
and
beta
like,
bitches.
beta as like they're not even beta, they're like fucking
Beneath that.
Omega or whatever.
It's the same concept of, oh man, I'm just always in the friend zone. No, they just don't like you. How about
Yeah.
that? How about the girl that you're after just doesn't find you attractive? It's not
Right.
because they think of you as a brother. Bro, there's incest stories, man. Like, don't worry about that, homie.
Right.
Like,
and you just don't know. You're not emotionally intelligent. I think that's one of the biggest problems.
Yeah.
Is that like nerds are very heady.
yeah.
And, you know, sometimes you just got to understand how to communicate and how to just fucking woo a girl or like talk to them and socialize.
Yeah, and sometimes too, I think what I hate that a lot of guys do just because they've seen so much Instagram posts and social media shit about what defines beauty in a woman, they think that, oh, that's the type of woman that I deserve, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Then what's
Yeah.
the type of man that they deserve then? It's clearly not you, fuckface.
That's fucking funny, man. Like they want this hot ass bikini model that's like fucking traveling the world with big ass nice titties and shit, and then like they can't even make up for it. Like they can't. They just want to be accepted for who they are, right? But they don't have a job.
Yep.
They're not smart. Like they're not intelligent. They don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
Like their diet consists of hot Cheetos and ramen.
Yeah.
They don't work out. And then they sit here and they want this top-notch grade A booty. But it's like, bro, like, come on.
Dude, it's like you would see this too. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys had like a group of dudes. You know, I'm not just shitting on men. You know, this is just the type of guy I've seen where there's that dude in the group that every time a girl walks by, he goes, "Man, you don't know what I'd do with that ass." What would you do with it, dude? What would you? I'll be so real, dude. There are some women that I follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
I look at their ass and then I go, I wouldn't know what to do with it. I really wouldn't. I would not know what to do with that fat ass. I would just sit there and just be mesmerized, and I'd be scared to do anything because I think she would destroy my dick. That's me being fucking real. And they always look at these girls and they go, I fucking tear that shit up. You wouldn't do shit.
You fucking stick it in and come in 2 seconds,
yeah,
bro.
because that's exactly
Yeah.
what I would do too. Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up. You wouldn't do shit with that.
Acting like a sex guy. It's funny, man, because I've hung out with guys that are like good looking.
Yeah.
Like it's a different world for them.
I know.
Girls come to them. They do the choosing.
Yeah. What's that like?
I don't know, man.
I
I mean,
giggle my way into that pussy.
yeah, dude. And they live in a totally different world.
Yeah.
Like us normal guys, we got to figure out other ways to attract ladies.
Yeah.
Personality.
Yeah.
You know, status.
Yeah.
Like fucking dressing well, whatever it is, having charm. Like, but that initial attraction, if you're good looking, it's easy, but it's not long lasting, right? Like a lot of these guys, like if they don't know how to cultivate relationships, they're not going to have a fulfilling love life.
Yeah.
But at least like when you're young and you just want effortless women to flock to you,
Yeah.
they live in a totally different world. And one of the guys I used to hang out with, he used to work at the restaurant with me. Shitty car, like fucking. He was a busboy like me, but this boy looked like a Cambodian model. Homeboy looked like every girl would fucking like melt, like rescue
Yeah.
me. Like, oh, I need my dishes cleaned, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
And then the way women would act around him, I was like, wow, there's no work. People were throwing themselves at him, but he's such a dunce. Like, he had no fucking clue that they were hitting on him. He thinks the world is so friendly.
Yeah.
It's different, man.
That's what it's like to be a hot person. I don't know what that's like, man.
Yeah.
That shit's such a fascinating thing to me. Like, when I observe that shit, I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Because we have good looking friends.
Yeah. And I just see people melt in front of them. I'm like, what the fuck is that like, dude?
Yeah.
The only shit I melt is a chocolate in my pants, dude. That's it. The fuck, man?
I just fucking melt people with laughter.
That's all I told you, man. We giggle our ways into the pussy, dude.
And what I mean, and to kind of like give some guys some guidance. Like, I know it's fucking hard. Like, I've been there. Like, it's
hard.
I mean, even in a relationship, it's hard. Like, it's difficult to communicate, and it's just we're wired different, guys and girls. We think different. We solve things different. We communicate differently.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what makes it awesome and beautiful. But the problem is, a lot of these guys don't even try.
Yeah.
And they make up shit and they sit home all day long. But what I want to let you all know is women are very forgiving. They're not so fixated on simple shit like us. Like
good women.
Yeah.
Yeah, good women.
Good women. Like, good women, that's worth keeping. Like, they're so forgiving. Like, you really don't have to be the hottest guy on the block.
Yeah.
You really don't have to be the richest dude on earth. You know, and it's the things that they want. It's pretty humble.
Yeah. I mean, you get what you ask for too. There's always like a check and balance system too. So, you know, we even know some people, I wish I could say names, but I'm not like that. But, you know, I have a friend where she was telling me that she kind of understood this whole concept of like, she's with somebody right now.
Yeah.
And this person on paper is great. Right. He provides for her, and her words, her love language is gifts and acts of service, and he does that to the max. But the problem is they don't really connect highly on like that. He doesn't really make her laugh. They don't really have that strong like emotional connection that she wanted with somebody. And it's like, okay. And she was with somebody who did do that, but because he couldn't provide the acts of service, which is her love language, she had to call it off because that part wasn't connecting.
Yep.
So, you know, for her, she's hoping that in this case that maybe one day they can connect and, you know, he's going to make her laugh. I'm like, probably not. If that didn't happen in the first couple months that you guys are together,
that's true.
It's not, that's the honeymoon stage.
Yeah. I mean, the other one might work, where the one that made you laugh
can do it the other way.
One day learn to make more money and give you gifts or whatever. But then not the other way around.
It's so hard. You know, you're asking much. Like, people have to understand what they're asking for and know that it's a give and take situation. People aren't going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And if you expect something out of somebody, you should be able to give them back something like that in return. That's why I just don't like, you know, and for girls too, I know like women who want, you know, this guy that's so emotionally attached, they know everything, but at the same time, you want the guy to solve all your problems with throwing gifts at you. What the fuck does that mean, bitch? What the fuck do you mean? What are you talking about? Pick your fucking poison, hoe.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like the same concept with the dude that expects the girl to be this hot, beautiful woman that's just done up 24/7, and they look like fucking hot garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, be real with yourself.
You gotta fucking do your part and look really good too.
Yeah,
do your hair all the time. Like, I mean, that's why they say models get with models, man.
Yeah.
It's
models get with models,
yeah,
or they
all
get
the
with
time.
rich people.
Yeah,
Either way.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's just it's difficult to get with a normie, like to get with normal ass folks. Like, it rarely happens, you know?
Yeah, you know what? Hot girls out there, get yourself an average dude, because they will never leave you. They won't cheat on you. They can't get any better. Anyways, guys, that concludes that episode of Genius Brain Podcast. Remember, we are up on all audio platforms. If you don't know, we talking about that iTunes. We talking about that Spotify, that Castbox. We everywhere. Make sure that if you gonna check us out, give us that 5-star, homie.
Listen, Linda,
because we got a lot of great things. And if you're on that YouTube world, make sure you leave in the comments below about the topics we should discuss, because we here for you, baby.
Listen, baby.
Yeah, we geniuses.